All right. It's just,
I don't know what I did.
like sign off.
I was like,
That's at the end.
my
man.
glasses, and I was like, here we are. We're
We
live.
give the salute at the end to sign off on the show. Now, the shooter might be the way you start. Hey, I'm Jeff. This is Ben. We're with Lancaster Connects. I had a whole thing ready to share.
My apologies.
And then you just like, yeah. So, this is how it rolls here on Lancaster.
Whatever
Connects.
happens.
Yeah.
I'm live.
Yeah. The opposite of who our guest is today, like the consummate production professional expert.
We're going to turn the tables on her.
Music, video, yeah, all of it. We'll be bringing her on here in a minute. But I made an executive decision and a production decision last night about Lancaster.
Trying to act shocked. I know what you're doing.
You're not winning any awards.
I
Even
might win an award for the performance that's about to happen in a little bit. The video performance that's going to show.
we'll see.
That's a treat. If you're watching now, be sure you're watching later. It's a real treat.
Yeah. But as I was saying, I made an executive production decision last night, or really over the weekend, about the show. And rather than us making you giggle and laugh and commiserate about football in the fall or baseball in the spring or whatever interests us to burn some time for the first few minutes, I thought, why not make it an even deeper connection with Lancaster on the show? So I get on my Facebook feed, my Lancaster Connects Facebook feed, that is, and I find 5 interesting things to talk about and open the show. So that's what we're going to do each week.
Love it.
5 things happening in our community. So if you want to be featured, please follow, subscribe Lancaster Connects in your social media feeds. That's YouTube, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook. And then I'll find interesting things that we'll share out. And, largely family friendly is a good thing. And so that's what we'll share out. Things that are interesting, things that help our community. And so we're going to jump right in to the first one, which is a friend of the show, Brett from Magic and Wonder Dinner Theater.
He's done multiple magic tricks on this show.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Just blew our mind with a card trick the last time.
He did.
So I'm like staring at the screen like,
And we can't.
did my
figure out
mind
how to-
just bend? But I'm sure there's some tricks. There are tricks because it's trick or treat nights at Magic and Wonder Dinner Theater, Fridays and Saturdays, October 4 through November 2nd. So that's started this weekend all the way through the end of the month, and the weekend after you go trick or treating. So just as soon as your kids calm down from that sugar coma they get from the Halloween bag, you can take them to one last trick or treat night in November at Magic and Wonder Dinner Theater. Great asset here in the community to check out local arts and entertainment and plays and theater. And they're doing a lot of wonderful things. You want to see what they're doing, you can watch past episodes with us.
Yep.
And check them
Just
out.
a couple months ago.
Yeah. Up next, Girls on the Run. So Ben, your daughter's done Girls on the Run.
Yeah. She 3rd or 4th grade. Yep.
Yeah. And she enjoyed it.
Yeah, she did. She's not a runner, but she enjoyed the program.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
And what did the program do for her?
Build self-esteem, meet some new people.
Yeah. So they've got, for Girls on the Run, they've got a silent auction. Bunch of new items have been added. You would find them, Girls on the Run Lancaster would be the place to go on social media. Find them and check out what's going on with their silent auction and all their events. I'd imagine all those proceeds benefit their programming. Just a really great thing to do. And silent auctions are fun because
Ton of fun prizes here.
yeah, I mean, I kind of like some bourbon trail, 3 nights of bourbon.
Wine bar.
I got to go bid on that one. Yeah, $1 million. I'll have to go bid on that one. But Girls on the Run silent auction is going on now. And then this is brand new to us. This one is a new art mural that went up in Manheim, just up Manheim Pike, which is behind the
that's
store.
beautiful.
Yeah, this went up at Horst Arts in Manheim, and it took only 37 days to get that done.
That's pretty cool. I like the roses for Red Rose. There's some Lancaster imagery there.
Ditzelfinks down at the bottom. Ditzelfink inspired.
Color me impressed.
When you work at Zinn's Diner as a kid, that's your first job. You kind of, and you're a sophomore, 14, 15, 16-year-old. Ditzelfink's kind of a funny word and it sticks. So
well done.
Isn't it? That was pretty good.
That was pretty good.
My Ditzelfink reference, the mural's fantastic.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Amazing. Love the colors.
So you can check that out right on Manheim Pike at Horse Arts in Manheim. So that's pretty neat. And then another new one to us, this I thought was really cool. Linden Hall Girls School did a complete house clean out, clean up, and reorganization. Basically took what appeared to be a home in distress, I think it would probably be the best way to put it, and just got it ready for another family to move into that needed housing.
Really cool.
And so I thought it was cool to get the young kids involved. I think that's one of those things that is kind of taking a back seat in our society today, is kids getting involved, getting their hands dirty.
Yeah, service projects, volunteer service projects.
Yeah, I think that's kind of going by the wayside, and I'm not 100% sure why, but I feel it is. And I just loved this when I saw it. So kudos to the Linden Hall Girls School and these young ladies that helped out and pulled up their sleeves and got that house ready for people that desperately need it. And just really proud of them. And so everybody here that we've shared with you so far, we've commented back on their page. Like I said, when we started the show, if you want to get in this rundown as we open each show, please do subscribe to us and get in our feed. And it really has nothing to do with anything other than, if I think our audience will enjoy it, these types of stories, we'll share it out. If you specifically want to share it out, reach out to us at LancasterConnects.com. And then finally, ongoing, and unfortunately, seems like these guys are going to be even busier with the news that's going on down in Florida, is Blessings of Hope. So just what a tremendous institution and charity we have locally here. Blessings of Hope, David Lapp and his team, they have committed, since Hurricane Helene hit the South, so that's North Carolina, Tennessee, South Carolina, Georgia, some parts of Florida, they have committed truckloads of food. So their specialty is recapturing food that's going to go to waste. So whether that's packaging dates that just don't meet shelf standard, could be fresh produce, fresh meats that are approaching expiration. They're able to do something with them through their food processing and sorting facilities. They're sending trucks of food, a truck of food a day, for at least the next week. We had opportunity to speak with David in person Friday. So, and then they're going to assess. And so there's a lot of news, a lot of information, on the news and on social media about Hurricane Helene, about the relief efforts, who's doing what, who gets what, things like that. And, you know, David gave some interesting perspective. It's great to help out. What it's shown is that our society's got a tremendous heart, but if everyone just shows up with trucks and trailers and plans to just drop it, that can create more of a problem than is needed. And so his recommendation would be to direct your charitable efforts, the things you want to do, through organizations that are on the ground, organized with communications, with support for the people there. Remember, if you want to go there for a week, you kind of want to use the bathroom. You want to be able to possibly take a shower. You want to be able to eat. There's a lot of logistics that need to happen. Come to find out, Blessings of Hope has a whole disaster assistance response team.
That's incredible.
Which is cool. They've got boots on the ground right there. So if for whatever reason, Blessings of Hope wouldn't be something you contribute to, I don't know why. Samaritan's Purse is another one. There's a bunch of really great ones that are there logistically managing things. And please do what you can. You know, with their food processing, we as gardeners made a $250 donation, and that meant it fed 700 and either 14 or 41. I might be transposing
more than 700,
but more than 700 meals on $250. And so, you know, if you take that down to 1/10, $25 is 70 meals. So I would urge you, blessingsofhope.com, donate there. Your donation there will stretch so much farther than you going to the grocery store and dropping that cart of food off for somebody else to transport and somebody else to drop on top of someone else. Again, not to dissuade anybody from helping, but just understand there's a lot that's got to go on. Yeah. Neither of us are experts. I'm not sure that many people watching are experts, but people like Blessings of Hope definitely have a finger on the pulse. And they're just such a great local charity.
That's a couple of recent guests helping down there. I know Complete Restorations, Stephen, we had him on the show representing Complete Restorations about a month ago, and they have a team down there helping out with the rescue effort.
Yeah, and Florida is in the crosshairs of another hurricane, unfortunately. So let's keep them in our prayers. And again, tune into what provides the most help and assistance wherever you feel called to donate. Please do. Without too much further ado, it's time to turn the tables.
Let's turn the tables, man. This is going to be a lot of fun. So our guest, Diane Dayton. Hello, Diane.
Hello.
How are you?
How you doing, guys?
We're great. We're great. So normally Diane is asking the questions, but she's not allowed to ask questions during this interview. We're
Really?
reversing
Okay.
it. No, you can ask questions,
All right.
but
Okay.
we're going to be directing the interview. So the interviewer is now the interviewee.
Indeed.
Right. So Diane,
Okay.
the show was called A Conversation with the Voice of Lancaster. I think everybody in this county has heard your voice at some point along the line, whether it was on radio or TV, or currently on TV, on your social media channels, various commercials for big corporations and whatnot. So I want to know this famous voice. Where did you first find your voice? Like, what was that moment?
I think my parents would say, as a baby, I started humming. So
Really?
therefore, I found my voice as a child. But I think the real thing is what you're probably asking is I studied theater and studied singing and voice and got into radio and TV. And that's where the whole thing kind of started.
So, radio, what was your first gig in radio?
Well, actually, I started out as writing commercials, which I absolutely love. Nothing like taking 30 or 60 seconds, trying to boil it down, add some excitement, and literally sell yourself on the product. And that was back in the time when there weren't that many women in radio. So I would be asked to voice over a commercial. So I was used to being on stage and singing. So I had to literally take what I had learned with that and turned it into what we call with radio theater of the mind. And the nuances, the phrasing, the music, the sound effects that you put into a spot can really create and paint a picture.
I've never heard that. Theater of the mind. That's interesting.
I like that. So
Explains a lot of what goes on in here.
it does.
There you go.
So is this like,
there you go.
This is something you started doing after high school or after college or?
After college, I literally fell into radio.
That's cool.
I was wanting to perform, doing more live things, but I took I was on the air with the student radio station. I thought this will look good on the resume, which it did. When, you got out of college and parents say, get a real job, and I fell into radio that way. And that's how the whole thing started. And then went on air.
And where did you go to college?
Well, I have credits from 4 different colleges because after the first 2 years, I took a year off and toured with a band and recorded an album.
Well, that's
and I'd gone to East Stroudsburg for a while, picked up some courses at York College in the summer, some at Penn State. But my last 2 years, I went to George Fox in Newburgh, Oregon.
Oh,
and
wow.
That's where I got my communications degree. Yeah. Let's just go the whole way to the other coast.
Yeah. Just like, here in Pennsylvania. Then
Well,
yeah, that's right.
You skipped over the interesting part, which I stopped, got in a band, recorded an album and tour. So tell us about that.
Well, this was back in the 70s. I was a teenager and it was a lot of patriotic music and a lot of gospel music as well. And we did a cappella as well as having some recorded backgrounds. And it was really a lot of fun to be able to take that time in between a couple of years of college and then going back. I think it also helped give me perspective.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not, this is a little left turn and then we'll come right back to it. I'm a big believer that we ought to be giving college age students today some time to figure things out between high school and college. Now it's not to mean idle, not to mean playing video games and being just a layabout. It's go maybe work at a profession, paid internship, externship, whatever you want to call it. Go work in a profession you think you're attracted to. Go work in a skill you think you want to build, even 6 months or a year, and then go get that added training, that added education. That's my belief.
Absolutely.
I think we'd have much happier people in our world because they wouldn't be so committed to something that they regret investing in with that college education and the cost that comes with it and the time.
And we're so young.
Years of your life. Yeah.
Yeah. We're so young. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Dan, You said you landed into radio. Was that FM 97?
No, it actually started over at WNOW and Q106 in York.
Listen to those call letters. Just rolls right off.
It's like no time has passed.
Yeah, that's where I first started doing a lot of writing. I used to write a lot of campaigns, and that's what got me over to FM 97. We came over as a creating writing team and did, like back in the day for Dutch Wonderland, came up with the slogan. Oh my goodness, that was the association. Oh my heavens. That was one of the bands that we introduced when we were at FM 97. But
That's
the
cool.
creative writing process, like with Dutch Wonderland, we came up with the slogan, A Part of Growing Up. And I really enjoyed doing that. But then the opportunity came, hey, do you want to go on air? And would you like to try being a DJ? And I thought, well, sure, why not? And that's all the thinking that it took with that.
So somebody recognized your voice and like, hey, you'd be great on the radio. Is that kind of how it happened?
No, it was actually at FM 97. It was the program director, Mel Edwards at that time, who was in charge of the DJs on the air. And I guess I'd gone away and come back and had moved out of town and came back. And he said, would you like to learn how to do this? Gave me the opportunity. So of course, the first shift you get overnights, so it was at midnight till 5:30 in the morning. And then later on, I went to middays, which was the 10 to 3.
Now, are we spinning vinyl at that point? Are we playing
Absolutely.
CDs? Yeah.
Absolutely. Vinyl. We were slip queuing, and it was great. It was, you could create a lot while you were there with live radio. It was just so amazing.
It's got to be completely different than it is now, right?
Yes. I haven't been in a studio recently, but from what I've heard, yeah. It was a lot of fun, and we got away with a lot more back in the day than you would ever get away with now.
I'm sure.
Yeah, but it was fun, and I know, Jeff, you know that, right?
Yeah. So I want to take a little step back, because you're kind of making me think that where you started in writing commercials and the production, the theater of the mind, kind of feels Madison Avenue like, but for radio and for local production and local business. Is that right? Like you said, the slogan you came up with for Dutch Wonderland. So was that something you came up with?
Yes, I came up with, yes.
I think that's fantastic.
We had a great time with that. We really did. There was also a winery, and we came up with Remember the Moment, Remember the Wine, and did that too. So I love doing that. And that's how you're probably going to ask me how Dayton Communications came about. I don't know if you want me to segue.
Yeah, that's the
segue.
That's the professional segue right there.
Yeah, that's the segue, because I was doing on the air as a rock jock and then big band. I did a little stint with news and also interview. I would do some radio interviews, but then I still liked writing, and I had that opportunity. I started getting asked to do more of that. Doing more with the voiceover. And that's when I decided to leave. But Class Act, the DJ company, Jeff, that I know you want to ask about, I started there too, because where did you call for a DJ for a wedding or a party? You called your local radio station. And that's how I started doing that. So I had both of these things going on at the same time. And it's like, gee, I don't have time to be on the air anymore, because I want to launch these. And this was back in the 80s, mid to late 80s.
Yeah.
So what was the core of Dayton Communications?
Advertising. It was marketing.
Yep.
We'd produce videos, radio spots, and I placed media buys on radio and TV stations in the area when we were more radio, TV, newspaper, print, and that was it.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, there that is. That's Sheena Easton, along with Jerry and myself. That was another concert that we got to open and talk.
I mean, this is 100% meant to be a compliment. Diane, you look like you could be the recording talent.
Oh, aren't you sweet?
It looks like she has a record out.
Yeah.
Like you're the touring out artist.
Well, thank you. That was very, very kind.
Yeah.
It was fun. It was really fun meeting people. Absolutely. And being out there. Yeah.
So, when I met you, Diane, this is almost 20 years ago. You had a relationship with Jim Gardner. you were helping him with marketing probably through Dayton Communications. Is that correct?
Yes, exactly.
That's cool. So like, let's go back to the kind of like maybe when you met Jim Gardner. So you would help businesses like Jim's business, Gardner's Bedrooms at that time, put together a marketing program, and then
exactly.
So what would that look like for businesses back then?
As far as marketing program?
Yeah, like when you would go in. It really depends
upon who they're trying to target.
Okay.
Yeah. Basically, I find the more I ask questions, you get all the answers you really need. Just keep asking the questions. It depends upon what their audience is into, what their interests are, but it's also getting to the core and the heart of what the business is all about and what you really want to present to the public.
Marketing 101, right?
That's right. That's right. Did you know Jim when he had the pet lion?
No. Probably before.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was like old Gardner stories.
Yeah.
That's you're a real Gardner's customer or connection if you know about the pet lion story.
Yeah.
Jim had a pet lion. He lived at one point, and
way back when.
That goes way back.
I think that might have been the original waterbed store in Park City Mall.
It might have been
like across the street from where we are now.
Yeah. That would have been the waterbed store with the lion and the rink. And what else was in the basement of Park City? Farmers market?
There was all kinds of things.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Wow.
But I'm kind of chomping at the bit here. Is it time to play what's on? So Ben found something.
Oh yeah, please.
I just think we have to play this. So there's Diane.
This is at least 18 or 19 years ago, Diane. You came to Gardner's Bedrooms again, Gardner's Bedrooms at that time. And oh my gosh, there we are. So this interview, you interviewed me about sleep and health and well-being. And of course, we're relating it to what we do at Gardner's.
Yeah.
So I found this and of course had to find a DVD player to actually play it. And this is a terrible recording of the screen with my phone. So I couldn't figure out how to digitally, take it from the.
This is why it pays to watch Lancaster Connects. We do, of course, put this out on audio, but it always pays to watch because there's always some fun that is visually fun. And so Chris, our amazing producer from Catherine, he said, maybe this is where The Office got the inspiration for both the characters, Jim Halpert and Dwight Schrute, because it's a little bit of
oh my gosh,
like
wow! All I need is a short sleeve yellow shirt.
It's just fantastic. It is just fantastic. The funniest thing about what's on the screen right now is the display rack behind Ben.
That is still around.
Parts of that are still here on site. You won't see it as a customer. It's a pillow shelf in one of our storage areas. But but boy, what a flashback that is.
Yeah. So this was and I'd like to talk about your Behind the Lines program, what that was, why and how you developed it, all that. But oh my goodness. Chris, do a side by side. Can you please? No. So yeah, I want to know about Behind the Lines, what it is, where aired, why you put it together. And then of course, this was an interview, I think 181. So you've done a ton of these, shows and continue to do the show on LCTV. So I know I asked you a bunch there, but go ahead.
Yeah. I'll run with that. Well, back in 1998, I was doing some voiceover work, commercial voiceover work up at Blue Ridge Cable 11. And Ron Reedy, who was the executive director at the time, said to me, "Hey, would you consider doing an on-air TV show?" And I thought about it. Wow, I've been in radio, but I haven't done TV. This will be a good way to stretch myself with something, also give me another outlet and to investigate other areas of interest and topics that I think would be really good to share with the public. So I came up with the idea of calling it Behind the Lines. And my tagline at the end is always, keep looking behind the lines. You might be surprised what you find. So all of the topics, they're so diverse. As you were saying, I mean, it's hundreds and hundreds of shows. So I did that there from 1998 up until 2018 when they weren't recording any more local programming there. But also back in 2011, segue into starting LCTV, which is Lancaster Community TV. We aired my show here, and we've been airing shows continually here on LCTV 66 too. Lancaster Comcast Channel 66.
So behind the lines is interviews with businesses or organizations or just people telling a story?
Yes, and yes, and yes. It's a lot of different things. It's arts, it's entertainment. We did, I talked to people about having a heart attack, having a stroke, what it was like. We talked about what it takes to be, as part of a firefighter, EMT. Coming up this week, we're doing a show on missing persons and what's called the Squeaky Wheel Tour. We're also going to talk about health and wellness. We've done things with the Fulton. We've done mental health shows with Mental Health America. It's almost endless, the topics.
Yeah. I mean, I feel I'm going to put you on the spot with this question, but with that many shows, it might be hard to answer this. Is there one show, one moment, one connection that really sticks out that says, I'm so glad I've put in all this work to get here to this point?
Well, that's a good question. That really is. I think, and this is broad stroking it, but this is the general idea. Anytime I get to really talk to someone where they share from their heart what they are doing, an impact that something's had in their life that can make a difference to someone viewing, has really made a difference, in what I do. Like, for instance, talking to people who deal with mental health issues, who are willing to come forward and come on screen and talk about that experience. Things like that really, I think is what makes it worth it.
Yeah.
And so now it's on LCTV. What times or where? How can we watch?
Well, Comcast.
It's all over the place. There's a lot of different shows that air every day. You can go online. You can also go to your TV remote, and right there with all the other channels, just click up 66 and you can see all of the programming for that day run across there. If you don't have Comcast, you can find it on one of our YouTube channels, which is LCTV PA or LCTV 66.
So Behind the Lines is on there. What else is on LCTV?
Wow. We've got arts, entertainment. We have some concerts from Lancaster Roots and Blues, from other concerts, a lot at Longs Park. We have cooking shows. We have, profiles of other people. We've got 2 new shows that have just started, Shining the Light with Jerry McCritty, and then also Take a Look with Jennifer Powell. And they interview different people in our area. We're recording some of that this week. So it's really shining the light on what's going on here. And we also have a lot of nature TV as well, too, because, sometimes you just need a break and you just want to relax and see something that's not so much in your face, just kind of chill a little bit.
Yeah. Is that Jennifer Powell?
Yes, it is.
I'm pretty sure she's a Gardener's Castor. Okay. I recognize her. Yeah. That's
very.
Diane, as we're talking, and we kind of went down a little bit down memory lane, and you talked about this. You referenced it not directly, but I will. You said something to the effect of that at that time, being a woman in radio. Obviously, women advancements come a long way. What do you feel was there anything you feel you were able to accomplish for women in, broadcast media like radio, TV? What path do you think you kind of laid out for other women to follow you?
I think to just keep doing it, to be out there, to keep doing the voiceover, to take the opportunities. Hey, do you want to do a TV show? Instead of backing off, say, yeah, I don't know what I'm doing yet, but I'll figure it out as I go. And that seems to be kind of my modus operandi. Even with Cool Jazz Cafe, which we started in the early 2000s, because there wasn't any jazz programming around here. And my good friend Jim Buchanan and I decided, we can probably change that. So we went over to the Rose at the time, and we pitched doing a Sunday jazz brunch show from 11 to 1. And that's how that whole thing evolved. And we literally created that, much like the TV station, which I'm sure we'll get into, from the ground up. Reaching out to record promoters and artists and figuring out how to do all of this, getting product, and just getting to know that part of the industry.
Very cool.
Well, I mean, there's no shortage of things that we could talk about, Diane. This is awesome.
I know.
So, let's talk a little bit more about LCTV if you'd like.
Yeah, sure. LCTV came about because my partner at the station, Frank Aldorfer, and I, we kept meeting each other in social settings, and we'd look at each other and we'd say, we really need to bring back some sort of community programming, because Frank and his family had WLAN and FM 97 in this area. Okay. And that's how Frank and I met back in the 80s. He was an engineer and I was a DJ. So we decided, let's see if we can bring back our community TV station, because in the year 2000, when Comcast bought Suburban Cable, our local TV station had basically gone away. And we thought we needed to try to do this. So we started from scratch with that and did all the research. We have it at the building where WLAN and FM 97 used to be, had part of my set that was a part of up at Blue Ridge. We brought that over and created it right here in Lancaster. And there's the set, and Extraordinary Give is coming up on November 22nd. It's Friday. We've been doing nonprofit videos from profits that are involved with that and are very active on the day out there doing it too. So you can see that on the channel and our YouTube channel too.
Yeah, very cool. So with the big getting bigger, you referenced it, WLAN got bought up, Suburban Cable got bought out or bought somebody up. It's like just gobble, gobble, gobble. The big keep getting bigger. What specialness gets lost when we lose local programming and local production?
Well, I think you guys know that answer, what you're doing, because what you're doing is connecting our audience with what's going on in the community, and you're doing it very well. So I give you credit, kudos to that. But that's what we lose, because that's what we've lost, I think, with a lot of the radio stations where you don't have the DJs that are here. You have somebody doing liners somewhere else, and you don't have them out in public like we used to do remotes all the time, going out there and seeing everybody. We had this connection. Back when I was on the air, and you're going to laugh at this probably. Well, one of the things I enjoyed doing when we had a snowfall, I enjoyed doing the cancellations because I knew people would be listening. Yeah. I felt that it was relevant. And not only that, I loved the excitement of giving me a page and rip and read, and just doing that. There was purpose to this. When I did a little stint in news at the station between the LAN and FM 97, we had a small earthquake that had gone down through the southern part of the county. It literally had hit my house in Millersville, knocked me off the couch. I ran outside to see what was going on and figured I better get into the station and see what's going on. So you're looking at stuff coming across the wire. And they literally got a hold of me then to do what we call an actuality. So I had to tell them what was going on here. And I took it to then go on both stations and tell everybody what was going on. That's the stuff that I think helps to keep us connected. And you talked about Blessings of Hope. We did a TV show with them too. And I think that's magnificent. These are the things that you lose when you don't have your community connection.
Yeah. I love it. Yeah. It's really, really neat. As you talked about the weather cancellations. I mean, I don't know about you. I used to the radio, and FM 97 was local for me. Being a Reamstown kid. Yeah. There's David Lapp on the screen.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, I remember you either turn the news on or you listen to the radio and you're like, oh,
waiting for your school.
Come on, Cocalico. Come on. Yeah. Come on, we can do it. And then Diane might have read it.
Gives you that good news.
Yes. Well, we used to even do lost pets in the area. That was on the AM station, and talk about a real service with that. We try to also do some local sports on our LCTV as well. So that's another connection too.
Yeah. What kind of sports do you cover?
High school.
Okay.
High school sports. We've tried also on occasion to get from the colleges. And if we get that, we do. We really enjoy and support, wholeheartedly our Stormers team too, because they're the great teams that we have different things on with them as well.
Yeah.
That's cool. So yeah, as you mentioned, the weather reports or the cancellations, we would have heard your voice then. Where else might we have heard your voice over the years? And I know you probably have a favorite project or two that you've lended your voice to. So maybe we could hear your voice at some point here.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, I've done a lot of Hershey messages on hold. Lots of times I'll hear from friends. Well, I was waiting online to do something at the spa and I heard you. I've done PennDOT messages on hold, giving directions on how to get there. State of Volvo and Park Hill Jewelry, you might have heard. There's Rocky Springs Entertainment messages on hold. I've done bank teller training. Fox 43, I used to do Coming Up Next, that sort of thing. You just never know where some of these pieces end up. With one of the bank training pieces, it was in a kiosk on Broadway in New York. So my joke was, I made it to Broadway,
That's cool.
That's very neat.
Yeah. The other funny thing real quick was, my son was coming back cross country and he was in one of the, stores along the way into the rest stops. And all of a sudden he hears my voice. He follows where it is. He called me and says, Mom, I just heard your voice. It was on a kiosk promoting a product, some state out west on his way back home. So you just never know where this stuff ends up.
That's incredible. So he was like, Mom?
Yeah, exactly.
That's pretty cool.
That's wild.
That was funny. It was really funny.
Now, are you a one take wonder? Like you do that in one take, or do you like think about it and like, oh, I'm going to do it this way this time?
Most of the time it's one take or two, depending upon the feel. I guess because I have been doing this so long, and my parents would probably tell you that I grew up reading out loud as a small child to my stuffed animals and to the dog. So I made the dog listen, and I was always doing some sort of performing and some sort of reading out loud. So that's something I've always enjoyed, and that comes pretty easily for me.
That's cool. You've always had an audience. I love it.
I've always had an audience.
Well, and to your point, Diane, about, when I asked, like, what do you feel you've done and what path did you blaze? And you said, I just did it. I took the opportunity. I said yes. What I took away was resiliency and repetition. And to your point of, I can one take or two take things, I would say to others, get the reps in, even if it is in your mirror at home in front of your mirror, if it's in front of your pets, if it's in front of your spouse, your partner, your kids, whatever thing you want to go chase, go get the reps in front of it. And it becomes easier. I'm pretty proud of this guy right here. We shot some video, what was it? A week ago Friday. And, Ben nailed it.
I had some bullet points.
but he nailed it.
I'm not normally the record in front of camera in one take guy, right?
Right. But I've been doing camera, video work, for self-promotion, business interests, etc. Since remember the flip cams, Diane, that it was the little flip cam. The little thing that flipped out and had the USB to put into your laptop or computer. Like those were all the rage 2006, 7, 8-ish years. And maybe even a touch earlier. And since then, I was doing just jumping in front of the camera, getting the reps in. So get the reps in, and whatever that is for you, it's if it's hands-on tradesperson work, if it's leading people, if it's wanting to be an on-air talent, you got to get the reps in, and that repetition will be so valuable as time goes on.
Sure. Absolutely. That's also how Burke's Jazz Fest, you're probably getting to this, and this is a jump from Cool Jazz Cafe. But I've been covering Burke's Jazz Fest in Reading, Pennsylvania, well over 20 years, about 25 years with live artist interviews. We start doing a lot of backstage live talking to the audience. When they're coming in, they're being seated. They get this peek with the artist and get to hear about that. And we do podcasts prior to that, that we promote what they're doing when they come in. And that, I'm so passionate about that because I remember when I was a young child, some of the music I heard around home was big band. And that just resonated with me. So any form of jazz has just, like we go with Steve Smith, that you might remember as the drummer with Journey, but he has vital information. He's had that band, a jazz fusion band, for several decades now too. And he was up at Nikki's Black Box for this interview. But yeah, that's such a great place. And I'll give a quick plug, April 4th through the 13th, 2025. It'll be back again.
That's cool. And I know if you're not able to go, you're always streaming stuff, streaming live performances, these interviews you do on your Facebook page and social channels. Maybe just tell us where those are.
Yeah, you can find them on Diane Dayton YouTube, and then on my Facebook page, which is just Diane Dayton too. I like to try to keep it simple, but it's also on Burke's Jazz Fest Facebook page too.
That's cool.
You can find all of that. Yeah,
that's cool.
But go ahead.
Yeah, well, I know one thing I want to ask is you actually train other people how to use their voice.
Yeah.
So what's that about?
Well, that's into something else that somebody asked me about. Isn't that how it always happens?
Yeah, right.
Somebody who was doing a radio show said, hey, can you help me with this? And it just started that way with this person who was doing a radio show. And then I started getting requests from people who had TV stations to talk to their sales force. I've done training at the Chamber of Commerce with TV personalities. I've worked with ministers. I've worked with teenagers. I've worked with professors. And what I firmly believe is that we all have unique voices, that we're blessed with a unique voice, that when we learn how to use it, it can represent us well, and it can be one of our best assets. Most people don't really know what they sound like because, unlike someone myself who has always been recording their voice in business, when they hear their voice back, it doesn't sound the same way that it does in their head. So I work on introducing them to their voice and what they can do with it and how they sound and how they can expand.
So what vocal tips would you give Jeff and I?
Well, I think you guys are doing pretty well.
Come on.
She just gave you the lesson in the lesson. Never work for free.
Yes. Yes.
Well, do you know what was one interesting time? I worked with a professor who actually came from another country. And the issue was she felt she wasn't being taken seriously. Oh. What it turned out to be was that more of a soft-spoken voice was what she was used to from her country. But when we started working together and gave her this confidence booster, you can own this. And, I was literally being a cheerleader with her, which I was in high school anyway. But getting her out of that, she has since started to ask for jobs, promotions, and has moved up the ladder on so many things because she started owning what she was doing with her voice, and it became one with who she really is, and it came across that way.
That's really cool.
That was exciting. That meant so much to me. Yeah.
So if somebody wanted to work with you, how do they do that?
Oh, just find me. I'm out there everywhere. Seriously, you can reach me at Diane Dayton at iCloud.com, or you can message me on Facebook, find me anywhere on social media like that. Yeah.
Yeah. And we'll have all the social channels connected with this episode. So that's easy for you to do if you would like to connect with Diane. Her Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, we'll have all that connected, and you can just click and connect, which is nice.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Diane, this has been a lot of fun. So as we wrap up, what's next for you? So we got the Burke's Jazz Fest coming up in the spring. What else is going on?
Well, there's a lot of things. We've got, like I mentioned earlier, we've got Burke's Jazz Fest. I'm sure we're going to be doing the Kozer Jewelers Tennis Tournament again at Hempfield Rec. That's every August. It brings in women from around the world, and we do some coverage with that and streaming too. But you know what it really gets down to, Jeff and Ben? It's about keep evolving, keep connecting, keep meeting the need, and giving voice.
Love it. I love when you're at the tennis tournament, because I don't know if a lot of people realize how big of a deal that this is. Like,
it is.
These
big.
are the best, kind of like the Women's Open Golf Championship was here in Lancaster County last year or earlier this year.
I'm ashamed I didn't know it even happened.
This is like the best women's tennis players in the world are here playing right here in Lancaster for a week and a half. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. We also had the pleasure of going out there at the Lancaster Country Club to cover that too. So we were out there for a week. So it opens up some great opportunities. It really does. Yeah. Very cool.
Diane, are you ready for a few additional questions?
Oh, go for it.
Connection cocktail. This is I mean, we've gotten to know Diane for the last 40 minutes or so, but just maybe few additional questions to get to know you a little bit better.
And these ones are easy. We took a little easy on you because of your connection to the community. You know, we didn't want to put you on the spot too much. So I'll start. So what's your favorite thing to do in Lancaster?
Go to restaurants. And we have amazing restaurants in Lancaster County. So, I mean, it's too numerous to even mention, but I love going to restaurants. Like also, you will find me out at Thornhill Tasting Room as well.
Okay.
A wonderful winery, too. So you'll find me there.
Maybe you can help us make a connection there. Maybe it sounds like somebody we should have on the show.
Oh, I think so. And I can do that. Yeah.
I think, I'm sorry, Dan.
No, the theater's good here. I mean, theater's amazing too. So I just wanted to throw that in. Yeah.
That's correct.
Fulton
That's correct. Yeah, we've had Fulton on the show.
Yeah.
Dinner and a show.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I think Diane has some telepathic capabilities because like she's heard question 1 and she answered question 1 with exactly what question number 2 is, which is, what is your favorite restaurant in Lancaster?
My favorite. There's so many, but you know what? I keep going back to the Belvedere in some way, shape, or form. I love the fact that they have jazz on Friday and Saturday nights as well. And you've got such unique eating areas within that restaurant. So, and the food has always been good and staff, So
you're not the first person to say the Belvedere for that question.
Yeah. Our sales manager here, Drew, loves the Belvedere.
Mm-hmm.
We every month that our employees have birthdays, we get them a gift from us. And that was Drew's birthday gift this month or this year.
Yeah. Okay.
So yes. Yep. Belvedere, way to go. All right. This is the hard hitting one.
Okay.
She's ready for it.
And you can rationalize your answer across a myriad of things that they offer. Here we go. What is Diane Dayton's favorite? Turkey Hill, Sheetz, Wawa, or Rutter's?
It's a tough question.
Oh my. I don't even go to any of them.
Where do you get your schmuffins?
I don't.
I know. Look at Diane's ageless. She doesn't eat schmuffins. This guy eats schmuffins.
Am I supposed to expound on that now?
Where do you get gas?
Oh, a lot of times at BJ's, but since my cars take premium gas, I have Gas Buddy, and I look for the least expensive. And sometimes with giant points, I end up there and can get stuff off. So yes, that's where I go.
All right. Yeah. Just learn something.
Complete avoidance of the convenience store. Maybe that's the way to go.
Yeah. Well, you don't eat candy bars and you don't get sodas. And this is how this is my problem.
Be more like Diane.
That's right. The Gas Buddy tip. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
That's a good app to pay attention to right now with gas prices the way they are.
Yeah, absolutely. I've had it for a while. Yeah.
Well, now I'm intrigued because if your cars so what kind of car does Diane Dayton drive?
Oh my, I have vintage cars.
Really?
Vintage car. A Mercedes SLK and a Mercedes ML. So I've got an SUV and a sports car.
Okay.
And they're all over 20 years old.
Okay.
Very nice.
They're still going.
Very nice. Very nice.
They're still going. Yeah.
Love it.
Very good. Very good. Diane, this has been a lot of fun. Thanks for stopping by.
It's been fun. Yeah.
We appreciate you. Check out everything Diane Dayton is doing. You just, whatever channel you're on, she is the Diane Dayton, and you can just find her that way. Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. We've got all that linked up here with the show notes where you're watching this or listening to it. Thanks to our amazing producer, Chris from Cast Ahead, who covers all the bases every week for us and gets all those ats and hashtags and descriptions right. So check everything that Diane Dayton is doing out. LCTV 66 right on your Comcast TV dial and stations. You can just type 66 into your remote, and there it is. It's also on YouTube. Support her efforts. Keep local TV and programming alive. And Diane, thank you for taking that up for Lancaster County as well. Thank you.
Yeah. We are a nonprofit, by the way, LCTV. So we appreciate any support. It does make a difference.
Very good. All right.
Thanks, Diane, this has been a lot of fun.
Yes, it has been a lot of fun. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Thanks for being on.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
All right. Have a great day.
was a good show.
I think it was great. I mean, there were numerous times where she kind of like turned it back and she's like, I know you want to talk about this. And like, she asked herself the question, right?
Yeah.
Can't stop interviewing,
how the
right?
turntables.
How the turntables. Going back to the office, right?
Spin. Yeah. Boy, if you,
oh my goodness. I knew it.
I mean, it's it's there,
close.
Man. It's there. and then it's that. It's coming up. I see it. It's right there. You just pause there and it's there.
It's a yellow shirt too.
So good.
Now, I don't think I'd ever wear a tie with a short sleeve. That's like, you don't do that. But like, if that was a short sleeve, that would be even more perfect.
Yeah. It's so funny. So good. Love it. Lindsay, this is your man.
She knew me then. In fact, I was wearing a wedding band then, so it had to have been after September 2005. So
yeah,
it was probably 06, something like that. But
yep. All right,
memory lane.
You have your testimonial. I have my sleep better tip. I don't know if you've been noticing. I was a little yawny today.
Or yawning. Maybe it's the redness. If you turn that way. Yeah. We got this little line up here.
I had an excessive amount of vitamin D sunshine yesterday.
Sunshine. Is that why you're tired?
At the I-105 Fall Fest? No, I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
No, I think the reason I bring it up, so we'll give you really great sleep tips in our Sleep Better book, which you can get that right there. We'll mail you a copy. GardnersMattressandmore.com/sleep-better. Go to that page on our site and fill out the form. We'll mail you a copy for free. But my tip is listen to your body. When your body's telling you to sleep. When it's telling you to take a nap, take a nap. And I've been doing a little bit of that as I work from home some days. And I think my body's a little confused and it's telling me it's time for a little nap. And I've been grabbing these little 20, 30-minute power naps in my massage chair at home, which we sell massage chairs here that are very incredible. We have 2 new ones in the warehouse right over there that need to come out and will next week. But listen to the body and get that power nap in 20, 30 minutes. Don't go too much longer. You'll get down in that deeper part of the sleep cycle and you'll feel groggy when you wake up, but a little power nap will help. Or just go to bed when your body's telling you to. I'm in a Facebook chat, big group chat with a bunch of other business owners. And one of them is very successful. And he's always telling the young bucks in there to go to bed. It's pretty funny. I'm in the middle of the pack age group wise, but he's like, go to bed. It's like 8:30 and his phone is going off and dinging. And he's like, just go to bed. So yes, listen to your body, go to bed and just get sleep. Uninterrupted. No phones, no TVs, sleep. Does a body good.
You know, the funny thing is, like, out of any profession out there, we probably have the easiest opportunity to take a nap, right? Like,
never done it here.
We have a dream room, like, where we can turn off the lights and close the door.
I did it one day when I was really sick.
Yeah.
I wasn't feeling good.
Yeah. Well, but like you said, there's no opportunity. We are busy folk here, and there's like no opportunity to take a nap here. But like, we should, because it's free.
You would think so, right? But like, the cobbler's kid doesn't have shoes, and the baker doesn't eat their muffins.
Mattress guys don't sleep.
Yeah. So anyway.
Testimonial time. We've got a handwritten testimonial here for Gardner's Mattress and More. Often these testimonials highlight a staff member here at Gardner. So this one was about Chad. Lori and Aaron said Chad is awesome, and they loved his backstory and the passion behind it. So what that is referencing is Chad has been an employee with us for about 1.5 years now. And he's had other industry experience, but his original industry experience was actually growing up in his family's home furnishings business. Chad's last name is Burkhart. For those of you who were around Lancaster County early 2000s and
Burkhart's Furniture.
Burkhart's Furniture was a big name in the Lancaster community for home furnishings. Great offerings, great service, all of that. But he grew up in that business, learning from his family and on the delivery truck and whatnot, has a passion for family owned and operated businesses. So when we found Chad 1.5 years ago, he kind of jumped at the opportunity to work for another family company. And he loves telling that story to our customers that he was part of a family business when he was like this big. So he
hi
shared
to a
that story.
grasshopper.
Yes, right. So I thought it was cool that Lori and Aaron mentioned that Chad shared his story, and it was, it had meaning to them in their buying experience here at Gardner's. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, very good. Another great show. We started out highlighting a handful of local people, groups, just overall highlighting Lancaster connections. We want to do that more on the show. We'll continue to do it. I put the calendar reminders in each Sunday to get the rundown together. If you'd like to be on that rundown, please do follow us. Facebook, LinkedIn would be the places to do that. I'll go just pull out things that are interesting. If you specifically need a shout out, we have a button on the site that you can check that out on. It's a tab called Get on the Show at LancasterConnects.com. So you can alert us there. But please share your information. And, if it's time sensitive, give us some runway, give us a few weeks. We want to make, we hope that shout out would help you get some more eyeballs on your event or whatever it is you're doing to serve Lancaster County. So get it to us and we'll be sure to highlight it. I think that's the show for
That's
this
the show.
I like it. All right. It's October. It's fall. Get your pumpkin on. Get your scare on.
It is pumpkin spice season.
Mm-hmm.
I made pumpkin pancakes over the weekend.
You made pumpkin pancakes?
Oh, I'll have to make you some pumpkin pancakes. They're the bomb. Kids love them.
I look like I like pumpkin pancakes. I'm wondering why I don't have any in front of me.
Maybe Monday.
Okay. We'll see next week. All right. We'll see you next week, Lancaster. Take care.